The call comes at 4:47 in the morning, not from your supervisor, not from the chief usher, from a number that routes through three different relays before it reaches you. And when you answer it, the voice on the other end says four words before you're fully awake. Don't touch anything. Wait. You don't ask questions. You've been in this kitchen long enough to know that the people who call at 4:47 a.m. don't answer them. You sit on the edge of your bed in the staff residence and stare at the wall and wait for something else to happen. 12 minutes later, there's a knock at your door. Two agents, suits, earpieces, the particular stillness that comes from people trained to be unreadable. They don't tell you where you're going. You already know. You've worked in this kitchen for 6 years. You know the smell of it at 5 a.m. before anyone else arrives, the way the sub-zero units hum, the particular weight of the silence in a building that never fully sleeps. You came up through Michelin-starred restaurants in New York and Chicago, staged in Paris for 14 months, turned down a head chef position in San Francisco that would have paid twice what this job pays. You took this instead. The clearance alone took 11 months. Background investigation, polygraph, financial records going back a decade, interviews with people you hadn't spoken to since college. They talked to your neighbors. They talked to your ex. The classification is called Top Secret Presidential Proximity, which means you have been screened and are free to work unsupervised. In a kitchen 6 inches from food that will enter the body of the most protected person on earth. As one former executive chef put it, you're not just around the president, you're physically inside him. You never forgot that sentence. The rules are not complicated. They are simply absolute. Every ingredient that goes into a presidential dish is scrutinized before it ever hits the kitchen. The grocery shopping is done by the Presidential Food Service, who shop at different stores at varying times during the week, so as not to fall into a predictable routine. You don't choose the produce. You don't call the supplier. Boxes arrive already cleared, already inspected. You cook what's inside them. You are on call 24 hours a day. Your day typically begins around 6 a.m. and ends after midnight. Your body adjusts. Your social life does not. After 2 years, you stop trying to explain the hours to people who ask. You learn the preferences the way you learn a language. Immersion, repetition, error and correction. The temperature he prefers for his coffee. The way the kitchen falls into a particular organized silence when a state dinner is 12 hours out. Everyone moving in the specific choreography of people who understand that a single mistake tonight isn't a complaint on Yelp. It's a diplomatic incident. It's a story that runs internationally. You don't think about that most days. Thinking about it is how you make mistakes. Now it's 5:04 a.m. and you're sitting across a table from two Secret Service agents in a room you've never been in before. The room is on the basement level, no windows, a single overhead light. A folder sits on the table between you and them, closed, and they have not opened it yet. One of them speaks. He tells you the president was admitted to Walter Reed at 2:18 this morning. He tells you the preliminary assessment indicates acute onset. He tells you the medical team has flagged the possibility of a chemical agent. He tells you this calmly, in the tone of someone reading a departure schedule, and the information lands in your chest like something structural failing. Then he asks when you last prepared a meal for the president. Dinner service, 7:30 p.m., pan-roasted halibut, roasted fingerling potatoes, a small Caesar. Standard. Nothing unusual. You tell him this and your voice sounds like someone else's voice, arriving from a slight distance. He writes it down. He asks who else had access to the kitchen between 4 p.m. and service. You start listing names, 3 sous chefs, 2 prep staff, the pastry team for the event the following evening. A food service officer you'd never seen before who came in at 6 to verify the delivery manifest and left 20 minutes later. The agent's pen stops moving. He asks you to describe the officer again. Here is the thing about this kitchen that nobody tells you until you're already inside it. The protocols exist because someone at some point decided that proximity to power is itself a kind of danger. Not because the people inside the building are careless, because the people outside the building are not. Even when the president is outside of the White House, There's a team by his side inspecting kitchens and sniffing out anything suspicious. The machine assumes threat. It plans for it. It has redundancies you don't know about, covering redundancies you'll never know about. And yet, you have been standing inside all of that for 6 years. You have passed every check. You have cooked at every meal with the precision of someone who understands that precision is the only thing separating your kitchen from a crime scene. You have never once questioned anyone who entered that kitchen with the right credentials. The officer had the right credentials. You checked them yourself. By 6 a.m., the kitchen is sealed. You watch from the corridor as agents in different clothes, not suits, now move through the space with equipment you don't recognize. They are systematic. They are unhurried. They photograph everything. They bag everything. Your knives, which you have carried since culinary school. The cutting boards. The halibut pan, still sitting in the drying rack where you left it. A woman in a gray blazer introduces herself as the lead investigator and asks you to walk her through the full service. Every step, every moment you stepped away, every person who entered your line of sight. You do. 3 times. Each time she listens without expression and takes notes and asks a slightly different version of the same question, which is,
Was there any moment when the food was not in your direct supervision?
you go back through it in your mind with a precision you didn't know you had. The halibut, the plating, the moment the pastry chef called you over to look at something on the dessert run for the following night, and you walked 8 feet to your left and spent 40 seconds looking at a tart before walking back. 40 seconds. You tell her. Her pen moves. By 8 a.m., you understand something that nobody has said aloud. Every other staff member has been interviewed and released to the residence. You are still here. The questions have not changed, but the room has. More people now. A man in a different kind of suit who has not introduced himself. Someone on a phone in the corner who has been on that phone since you arrived and has not looked up once. You are not a suspect. Nobody has said that word. You are also not a suspect. And the space between those two things is expanding slowly, like a crack in something that was supposed to hold. You think about the officer with the correct credentials. You think about 40 seconds. You have fed this man for 6 years. You have learned his preferences the way you learn anything important. Through accumulated attention, through care, through the specific discipline of someone who understands that what they do matters even when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is watching. And somewhere in the last 12 hours, inside the most secured kitchen on the planet, surrounded by every protocol that was ever designed to prevent exactly this, something got through. You sit in the room. The folder on the table is still closed. Nobody tells you when you're leaving. Outside this building, none of this is public yet. At some point in the next few hours, it will be. Markets will react. Governments will make calls. The news will do what the news does with information like this, which is to make it larger and louder until it becomes the only thing in the world for 72 hours. You will not be named in any of it. Your kitchen will be described as a secure facility. The investigation will be described as ongoing. The people in this room will be described as officials familiar with the matter. You will be the person who cooked the last meal. That is a sentence with a specific weight to it. You feel that weight now, sitting in a windowless room at 8 a.m. while a man in a suit talks quietly into a phone 6 feet away. 6 years of perfect service. 6 years of the right temperature, the right timing, the right technique, every single time. And somewhere between the halibut and the plating, 40 seconds. That's all it ever takes. The folder sits on the table, closed.